I'm getting eaten by the parasites. If I'm getting eaten by the parasites.
It's crazy how we have some talents for weapons that are, pretty much necessary, like the dagger talents and how they increase their damage and stuff, to ones that are kind of like mid at best. Pretty much every weapon in the game has at least like one talent, except for, ironically, the most used weapon, the sword. As crazy as it sounds, swords don't even have one talent. I mean, I guess you can count Stronghold, but technically it counts as a medium weapon talent. So, but do we really want like high stat requirement weapon talents? Because pretty much everybody levels up weapon last because they much rather take like their elemental talents or their physical talents over like the weapon ones, unless you're say like dagger or something like that. But I think the devs are aiming for like a balance between all stat leveling, so kind of like leveling all of them at the same time instead of leaving weapon for last. So this is kind of like my idea of helping them out by just adding like a couple high tier talents or something like that. But before we discuss some potential sword talents, I kind of lied to you. Sword isn't the only one that doesn't have any talents for it to, call its own. Great Hammer has no talents. A lot of you might say Great Hammer doesn't need any talents to be good, because we already have stuff like the Petra's Anchor and the Hive Lord's Hubris. To be honest though, it wouldn't be fair to have, axes have talents and great swords, I think they have at least like one talent, but I pretty much just want to have a balance between all of them. This first talent I call Ceaseless Pressure. It's a rare Great Hammer talent that requires 80 heavy weapon and 20 strength. So basically, whenever you block break an opponent with your hammer critical, it doesn't reset their posture bar. So you can kind of like follow up with another block break if your opponent decides to hold block after getting demolished. Now off rip, that sounds pretty OP. I think this could be fixed by just adding like a fat cooldown on it, like 30 seconds, something like that. By Mourn, the Hive Lord Hubris players. Oh no. It's not that hard to fight against them. You have an F key, if they uppercut, just press G. It's pretty simple. You have 6-year edition, right? Everybody runs that nowadays, so. This next talent is kind of huge in my opinion. It's kind of more impactful than even the one I said previously. I call this Hilt Strike. It's a common talent that requires 50 heavy, and I don't know, some other stat, maybe like 20 agility or something. So whenever you feint an M1 and you M1 again, it's going to perform a faster swing attack, which kind of looks like the rifle butt hit. It's kind of like the old like gun heavy technique that everybody used to use. I miss that, by the way. The whole reason of making this talent is to like make some like mix up that's pretty similar to that, but just give it like a 15-second cooldown. And I also added another talent onto this called Steel Pommel, and basically landing a hilt strike adds 30% pen to your hammer. So like to your M1s, to your crit, just your weapon. Make it last 3 seconds and give it a cooldown of 30. Hammer needs cool talents, and as long as they're balanced by like cooldown wise, I guess, that's fine by me. Now finally onto sword talents. This first one I call Swordsman's Ploy. Now this is actually a mantra talent. You need 80 medium, you need Master's Flourish, and so basically if you feint Master's Flourish and then cast it again in like some sort of time frame, it adds a third slash, like a third ring. Or better yet, maybe you can make this like a wind hybrid talent, make it like a 50 wind stat requirement, and like, I don't know, make like the third ring green or something like that. Now an interesting idea I kind of tried to expand upon is like switching stances. Like basically everybody goes two-handed, unless they're using like a shield. But what if there were like advantages in switching stances mid-fight, so from two-handed to one-handed, So I kind of thought of this talent called Vigil's Technique. It's a common sword talent that requires 50 medium. Switching your sword stance mid-fight grants a speed boost. So, I don't know, maybe you can like be fighting somebody and then, ooh, look, one-handed, and you're much faster now, and you proc Speed Demon and all that stuff. Another talent in this tree I call Winded Hit. So basically the first M1 upon switching your stance dazes the opponent, because if you have this with the other talent, it gets rid of their speed boost and grants you a speed boost whenever you switch your stance, which I think is pretty cool. And we need more talents that revolve around stance switching as a mix-up, maybe. I don't know, just something cool. But that's pretty much the end of the video. If you have like any talent ideas for medium weapons or heavy weapons, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. I might take a look at them, and I might read them in a future video or something like that if I find them cool. I also apologize for not uploading as much as I used to. But now that it's, you know, the Mourn summer and I'm actually getting paid for my videos now, you can expect a lot more uploads. So yeah, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and yeah, see you around.